Oh man, we're such a podcast. We got Ilhame in the building. How you doing?
Good.
So we were just talking about the power of the microphone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As she feels like she's on a radio show now.
It really is crazy. So when I was in 12th grade, we had this. So messed up. I came up with I basically pitched to one of like the school heads of school, like, oh my God, we should have like a like every class should have one spokesperson, and then we need like a president of the children. So I basically like pitched that whole idea to our like head mistress or director of whatever, my primary school.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, yeah, let's do it. And then I held a voting for everybody, every grade from 1 to 12. I held a voting, so every class could like bring up one person. Sorry, it's a very long story.
No, it's okay. Do your thing.
But so everybody got one, and then we need to vote for president. And I didn't put myself in the vote because I didn't want to be a spokesperson for my class. I wanted to be the president.
You wanted to be the president.
Yeah.
You wanted to have someone talk through you. Oh God. Okay.
So I pitched this idea to the headmistress, then ran the whole voting for it. And then I left myself out on purpose so that I could become the president. I was like, who is left to vote for? And then to become president, you had to do, this is where it's going to circle back to this moment right now. So we had to like record these videos with all the plans. What child is going to have like some type of impact on the school? Like the system is the system. Like, you know. You
could just say whatever.
Exactly. Well, we got some stuff done. Like, so we had to record a video and say like, hey, my name is Ilhame, and I'm going to make sure that we all get mini iPads and to get votes to be the president.
Right.
I was like, I'm promising these kids the world.
Yeah, like you get a fucking car if you vote for Ilhame.
You got a G-Wagon, and you got a G-Wagon, and you got one. Yeah. I was promising them heaven on earth in their school time, in their primary school time. And then, so we had to like sit and record. I had one of the really creative kids. I ran that school. I had one of the really creative kids make me the most fire flyer for it. She she basically like painted me out. Like I had a 12-year-old. I painted 12-year-old. I was like, look, girl, if you paint this thing for me, I'm gonna make you the vice president if I get president. She's like, oh my God, yeah. So yeah, we had to record it. So this moment right here reminds me of that. I became the class president. The only thing that I really got done is that we could chew gum during tests, and I got the school a ping pong.
What?
Yeah, because
it's like standard here.
I know, but there's a research done. You can't really eat. There's like this time, but there's research done that when you eat gum during an activity, it fires up your brain in a certain way where you can make connections that you previously might have not made. Yeah. So that's why I was like, oh, we can. I read that research when I was like 12.
Yeah, there was something that, or here in standardizing testing, you could bring gum.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as you should. Yeah.
And your primary school, that was overseas, no?
Yeah, that was in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Yeah. How was growing up in the Netherlands?
Very interesting. Yeah, very cool. Is very, very blonde hair, blue eyed, with like a bunch of immigrants from all over the world. So you have like mainly like Africans, but obviously from any part of the world. But we have a lot of North Africans, West African, East African, South African, like anywhere from Africa. There's people going to be in Europe because it's like
so close, right?
So close. And in the 80s or 90s,
there's a lot of people in Africa. It's big as fuck.
It's big. People underestimate how big it is.
It's big as fuck.
It's big, like
massive.
Massive.
Africa is a continent. I feel like we always talk about Africa as if it's a country.
It's a country. It's like,
it's a fucking continent.
You understand the U.S. fits like, I don't even know, like
3 U.S.s in Africa?
No, more, way more. I think it's like 40.
Really?
Yeah, 40 U.S.s. And I need to look this up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, Simeon, can we get on that?
Yeah.
Can you figure that out?
How many times does the U.S. fit into
Africa?
Yeah, Africa. It's crazy.
We'll figure that out. Well, he figures that out though. But
yeah,
you said there's a bunch of immigrants and a bunch of Africans.
Yeah, it's a bunch. Yeah, so
there's Africans everywhere. Yeah, there's literally Africans all over the world.
But it's really cool. Like it was a lot of Middle Easterns. It was really cool, like having a true melting pot because it's so small. So even
that's fire.
Yeah, so if I were to go to Amsterdam, I grew up like only 45 minutes east from it.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to go there, you would like just run into so many cultures in these little neighborhoods. You know how you have like Little Italy here?
Right.
It would be just not a Little Italy, but a Little Italy mixed in with Little France and Little Turkey and a little Senegal.
All
like,
in the same
all
little...
in the same neighborhood. So if I want to go get food, I'm going to go to the Turkish bakery and then hop over across the street to get some Senegalese coffee and like...
Fire.
So you have all those people and they're straight from there. So... all their kids.
So it's authentic. Everything's really authentic.
Like growing up, we would drive to Morocco and we would drive back and we're only allowed to like bring one backpack with clothes because obviously we have clothes there and whatever. It was like, but we needed to have space to bring back all of our spices and honey and olive oil and we would bring watermelon from Morocco. We would like bring it back home and we would get so many. We'd fill up the car because now when we were at home, when we were cooking and we're cooking with those spices, my Dutch neighbors will taste it and they're like, oh my God, I've never had something like this before. I want this here. So all of a sudden, a lot of Moroccan shops are opening where your blonde hair, blue-eyed person is going to go get their spices for their tagine that they're making.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
it still seems like the Eastern world has a lot of trade and stuff just still going. That's like never going to end.
Yeah. So in the West or any like first world country, we trade money versus knowledge. A lot of other areas of the world, which that's what it used to be. So if I'm trading money to knowledge, there's no set pricing on that because I can determine how much that knowledge is worth, right?
Almost like a consultation.
Exactly. But if in a lot of other parts of the world, it's not that case. It's just like money versus product.
Yeah. What do you have of value?
Exactly. So because of that, like there's even areas in the world where it's like product versus product. So I have a chicken and I want...
You have a chicken, you got a mango. Let's do it. Or you got mangoes.
Yeah. So I feel like that wasn't necessarily the case in the Netherlands, but in areas of Morocco, it's still the case where you like go product versus product. And so when we bring back the product, we're finally, kind of...
But that actually shows true value because...
Yeah.
We kind of have that. We don't like money versus knowledge. I mean, I guess you can say you can put a price on knowledge because it's like if you didn't know how to build a house, but I knew how to build a house.
Yeah.
Now I taught you how to build a house. Now you can forever build houses.
Exactly.
Like, that does have value. Like 100%. That has a lot of value.
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything. Because if I can convince you hard enough that I know some stuff that you don't know that you might want to know to help yourself, I can charge you a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
I can charge you a lot. That's why like product is dependent on market, but knowledge isn't.
Yeah.
They can forever be new.
Yeah. That's far. That's crazy to actually stop and think about. All because we're in a different part of the world.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. But it's oh my God. Are you into reading books?
Yeah, 100%.
You should read Homo Sapiens by Noah Yuval Harari. He talks about that concept. He talks about how trade happens in different parts. It's a very crazy book. Like not crazy in the sense of like Homo Sapiens. So good. Like
really good. I'm gonna get on that. Hey, did you ever figure out how many times can the U.S. fit in Africa?
Yeah, it says that Africa is more than 3 times
The U.S. So 3 U.S.
I said 40.
Bro, I was about to say, bro, if you could fit 40 U.S.
500 million times.
Like, God damn. And we have a lake here that holds the world's 1/5 of the world's fresh water. Is the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No,
and that's small compared to Africa.
And it's crazy because all the desert that is in Africa right now, that used to be jungle.
Used to be jungle and water and all that jazz.
Oh my God, crazy.
Yeah. That's good stuff. So now, obviously you were in the Netherlands and then the Netherlands. Like you gotta feel like you sound that word out when you say it. The
Netherlands. No. Yes.
It's a long ass word. But what brought you to the States?
So I grew up doing track like ever since I was 5 years old. I was a very active child. And my sister's teacher back in kindergarten, she was a track coach, and she saw me running around like playing with my sister. And when we, my dad was there as well, so she hit him up. She's like, "Hey, your oldest should come to track practice. Just let her practice. She seems like she has a lot of energy."
Mm-hmm.
So I came on the Thursday. I practiced with them once, and my dad is like hyper competitive, but in a really good way. Like he just wants you to like really push.
Yeah.
So I came
Just to be the best you can be.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. In everything.
It should be.
Yes. So he's all about like, yeah, quality. He wants you to do really well just for your life, for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And he put me in on Thursday, and then Saturday there was a like a track meet that Saturday. So 2 days later, my dad signed me up and woke me up on Saturday morning without telling me. He's like, "Yo, you're going to your first track meet." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" So he said, "If you don't run hard enough," he was joking, obviously. He's like, "No ice cream after this." And I was like, so I ran like a crazy kid. I was like 5 years old. I was like running for my life, got second. And that's where it started.
So natural athlete. Some people be natural athletes now.
Kind of, yeah.
You went to Duke. You've seen some natural athletes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. I think like everybody that's like doing sports on that level is a natural athlete. Like it just depends on like how you form your craft and how you go about it. But yeah.
And so was it just like, so okay? Then let me ask you this: ever since you made second in that meet.
Oh, yeah.
Did you always end up in like the top 3 ever since then?
Oh, no. So I was a long distance runner or mid distance for a pretty long time, actually.
Distance?
Yeah. So it was like.
I hate distance.
Yeah. Oh, my God. To me, it's very like if you're not doing it competitively, but like for leisure, because in the beginning as a kid, like how much can you run really? Right. So they make you do like distance. And then they make you do multi. So a multi is that you do every single discipline within track. So it's just like 7 disciplines.
Damn.
Yeah. So they make you do that, and then what's it called? Yeah, I was a good like regionally. It was a good distance runner. I went to nationals. I did all that, but I wasn't great. I was more of like a field event. So high jump, javelin, all that. So I've never really won anything big. Like I've never been first. I've always been second and third, and it will be at high stages. Like it would be at like Dutch nationals. I came third when I was 17, and
but you had to be first in something to get there.
No, I swear, like I haven't. And thank God I haven't, because the contrast, my little brother, he was freak of nature, like athlete. He won like nationals like back to back to back to back as like
Jesus.
Yeah, he was crazy. But because of that, one time he got third because he fell, and it just mentally messed him up. Like he was just like, I don't want to do this. I only want to win. And if it's this, then no. Yeah. So yeah, I never had that. Thank God. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a false correlation, but I never. Always third, always second. Like when it didn't matter, I would come in first. Obviously, when it was like some small ass meet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
when it was like where you were ending up, where you were training all this time to get, you never finally pushed through it. It's okay. I mean,
yeah, it's fine because I kept going. That's what's gonna keep you going. So when when I was 17, came third, and it was like the first big thing. So even like I couldn't. Prior to that, I couldn't like perform at nationals. I was always like top 8, but nothing even close. When I was 17, first time, never before that, always top 8. And then there happened to be a coach from California. I don't remember, maybe Cal State. It was like a Tiger, and he was like, "Oh my God, you can go to the U.S. and study for free because you're really good." And I'm like, "What? Is he trying to scam me?" Like, right. I don't know you. Like, he was talking English, and I remember my English was so bad at the time. And he's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to an agency." And I was like, what is going on? I literally was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So I pull up to it happened to be there, the agency. So I pull up to them, and they're like, "Here's my card. Like, if you want to reach out, you reach out, but whatever." Like nothing really. They weren't really pressing it, and I was like, "Why is this coach telling me that I should do this, but y'all are not really pressing it?" Like,
it didn't add up.
Yeah, it didn't add up. I was like, I must not be like good enough to do this. And then I went home and told my parents, and my parents were like, they thought I was coming up with something. Like, because I've been to the U.S. when I was 16 on an exchange with high school, and I was a week in New York, and
whoa, they just dropped you in New York for a week?
Yeah, it was
Jesus.
Like, it was like a super small fee because like the high school like funded part of it. So I begged my mom. I was like, Mom, please, 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 please. And we didn't have like a bunch of money or anything, but yeah, she saved up, I saved up, and then came when I was 16. And I went from a small town right outside of Amsterdam, small, 50,000 people, to New York for the first time.
That's what I'm saying. That's wild.
I was like, yo, where am I? What is this? I was like...
Did you like it though?
Oh my God. It felt like a trip. It felt like I was tripping for a week. I was like, why are these buildings so high and these streets so wide?
That's intense. Like when you're in those buildings and you look straight up, like that shit's like...
Yeah, it's like, why did y'all feel the urge to build up this high? But
high, yeah.
I was just mesmerized. I was like, this is another world. And I was 16. It felt like I was taken out of my little, my little fish tank, and I was put into the ocean. Like, go ahead. And I was like, and then I was back in my fish tank because I went home after a week. And I was like, I need to go back to the U.S. And for 2 years, I told my mom after that trip, I was like, I'm going to live in the U.S. And at that time, like, how are you going to live in the U.S.?
Right.
Like, how? I was 16. I can't work. I don't know about school. Every school here is like so expensive. So I got that card, went home. I was like, Mom, I think I found a way to get back to the U.S. Right? She's like, girl, no, that's a scam. So I find a number. I call them up. I set up an appointment with the agency, and I take the train for like 2.5, 3 hours by myself, like all the way down south. And I meet them in their office, and it's on the side of a highway. And I'm like, this might be wrong. Like, this might go wrong. So I go in, I kind of pitch myself like, hey, this and this and this. And they gave me the cost, and it was too much. Like, I could not afford that. So that same summer, I was working so much as like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I was working like 60, 70 hours a week and training on top of it. Yeah, because I wanted to go. I needed to pay the fee to the agency so they can connect me with all the schools in the U.S.
Right.
So
like a recruiting agency.
Yes,
right.
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and they become your agent, and then they get you to whatever school. But I don't know anything about the schools here. I'm like, they have to all be the same. So I thought like Kentucky was the same as Loyola, was the same as Harvard. Like I all thought it was on like one thing, you know?
Yeah.
So at that time I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go. All I know is I need to be in the city, because if track doesn't work out, at least I'm in the city and I can get a business job.
You can do something else, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I just
no, it was smart.
So when a school here in Chicago was like, hey, and they're small, like mid-major D1 school, they were like, oh, we want you, because I'm like probably like a catch for them, you know, and I don't know, like.
Yeah, mid-majors are a catch for any decent athlete.
Yeah.
You go mid-major, you can get a lot of bang for your buck.
Exactly. Or you get very good Europeans that don't know about the U.S. sports system. You can get like a European champion at a mid-major school because they just don't know. So that's what happened. Me and a bunch of international kids came at the same time because we all ended up in Chicago at Loyola. We ended up there. It was like 9 of us. It was a girl from New Zealand, girl from Germany, Israel, girl from Spain, Nigeria, guy from Scotland. So it was a bunch of us just there. And we just ended. That's how it, like I worked all summer, saved up for the fee. Just when they came, I was like, sign it away, and then I bought my ticket there, and that's where my parents were like, oh, she really going?
Oh, she's dipping.
Yeah, they didn't realize up until that moment. Like they did not believe it. They just didn't. They were like, there's no. How did you get your?
Well, you know, maybe they didn't understand the sports scholarship thing, and
they didn't.
You know, that is a lot. That's tricky. Like when I first got recruited. Because when I went to Utah to play ball, I had one guy from Great Britain. I had a guy from Paris.
Okay.
Like a couple more guys. One guy from Canada.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, we had a couple teammates that were from overseas, and but it is a tricky thing. Like even our coach was from overseas. He was one of the FIBA coaches. But in one of these other countries, Brazil. But it was a tricky thing to actually get a scholarship. Then you gotta get your visas.
Yeah.
You gotta get all that stuff, but you can get it a lot easier when you get it through like a university because they're like, all right, well, they're coming to learn, so they got a purpose, blah, blah, But if you're really good, they will pay for your shit.
Yeah.
They will get you there.
Yes, and I didn't know, to me, because where I'm from, nothing is free.
Yeah.
There's always a price to pay. Like and that's here the case here too, obviously, because even though I'm getting to school for free, I'm working out like 4 hours a day.
Yeah, you're literally a sports slave.
Yeah, like everything that you do, all the things that you do, like your life revolves around
that. Yeah.
Around that. That's the price you pay.
Yeah,
so.
you literally just have to. Like, if you got practice here, you got to do it.
And if you
There's
don't
a pop
do
up
it,
this, you got to do it.
You got to go.
Like,
Wake
it does.
up in the rain, and when you don't feel like it, you still got to
You
go.
got to do it. They like don't care because you got to think coaches and things like that. Like, even though they do care about you,
yeah.
but like, maybe some more than others, but they still have a job. Like, they are getting paid and scheduled to be there and making sure you're working out and doing this and that. So even when your body is just like, no.
Yeah.
They still have to be there just for their paycheck. And that's where it becomes like a business in college. And it's not the same.
Yeah.
In college.
It's not. Yeah. It's really cool that I like really appreciate that this exists, because like I don't know what I would have done like if I was still at home.
Yeah, it does breed great opportunities. That's for sure. It does.
My goodness. Yeah.
How did like the change from Loyola to Duke go for you? And why'd you change?
Yeah, so at Loyola I didn't have a coach. So when I got to Loyola, I was obviously so oblivious. Like I was just like, oh my God, I'm in the United States. Yeah. I'm in a big city. Like, haha, fun. Got there, I was like, oh, there was like the coach that recruited me left because it was a volunteer job. He didn't get
that
paid.
Fucking happens all the time.
So he left, and then they couldn't find a replacement. So they asked like an old javelin thrower that was like he played with Loyola when he was like
an
alumni. Yeah, but he worked like an intensive like investment banking job downtown. So we would have to go like the first 3 months of me being in college and training. We would have to go at like 5 a.m. And we would train from 5 to 6, not even like 2 full hours. An hour is like nothing.
Right.
And then we'll train for 1 hour, and oftentimes he would cancel. Like at least 2 times a week he would cancel. And at one point after 3 months, I told him, I was like, look, like this is not going to work. I'm not going to get better from this. You have a full job that you work, just go do that. Like don't waste everyone's time. Exactly. Don't say yes to 2 things to just please, but now you're hurting the situation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I told him like, nah, just stay, like you're good. And then I called up my coach from home and I was like, look, I'm in this situation. I don't know what to do. I can't stay here for 4 years. I need to go. Like I need to leave. And then in my brain, the only way to do that, I wanted to upgrade, obviously. Like, I want to get into a better situation, better, even like academically or athletically. I want to get into something better. So the only way to do that in my brain was becoming All-American, because if I become an All-American, you can go anywhere you want. Exactly. You can use it as leverage to get somewhere else. So I trained the first year. I went to regionals, and regionals like happens before nationals, obviously. And the best 12 on the day of regionals go to nationals. And so the best 48 athletes of the East, best 48 athletes of the West, they all meet up in 2 regional meets. And then with those 48, you compete for a top 12 spot. And that advances you to the finals. Okay. So my first year, I qualified for regionals. So I was with the best 48 athletes in all of West America. And then I show up and I become dead last. Like my freshman year, dead last. Like so bad. Sophomore year, COVID happened, and then so I was training for a whole year. I was like, okay, finally I can become All-American. I can get out of here because I don't want to do another year of training. I can't do it. So COVID happened. I went home, and I was finally with my coach from home, and that really propelled me because I was like able to work with him one-on-one and really put in hours of training. I would train twice a day, eat very clean, all that, because I was like, next year I need to leave. Like, So yeah, the next year I get to nationals. Get to regionals. It was in Texas, and then I'm the 12th that day. Like regionals, I was the 12th athlete. So the cutoff was like after me. So it was the last one to make it in. Nice. And so from dead last to 12th. To 12th. That's nice. That's fire. Yeah. Yeah. So I went. And you said it was what, 50, right? How many people? Oh yeah, 48. 48. That's right. There you go. Yeah. So went to nationals. Damn, that's tough. Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. So went to nationals, almost became dead last again. I mean, not you're still in the top 24 athletes of all of America,
right?
You know, and like it doesn't get better.
That's literally like 1%.
Less. It has to be like point.
Yeah, that's
something.
so crazy.
Yeah, it's such a small percentage. There's 24 athletes. Like that is so insane. Like I never realized that, and I was like, after that, I didn't even care that I was at nationals. I cared that it was like I can leave the situation.
So you were like, okay, like obviously because you were from like overseas, and you came here. Like, it sounds like during that time, did you not take into consideration like actually how good you were?
I had no idea.
Like you didn't understand the difference between like D1 schools and like being a Division I athlete. Like, do you know that people here have a very hard time becoming Division I athletes?
I had no idea.
Okay, I just wanted you to like,
because
I'm hearing you talk about this and you're just saying it so casually. And I'm like,
bro, because I still don't believe it. It's like I'm not supposed to do all this. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like this doesn't even make sense. Like God really said, nope. This is what's gonna happen. I'm like, okay, but kind of random, you know.
Yeah, no, but it's fire, and it'd be like a javelin thrower. Like that's so different.
I know. I used to be kind of ashamed of it. I was like,
what? No, that shit's fire because no one can do that shit, and like that shit's in the Olympics, bro. Like, bro, that shit's like,
it's crazy.
Long life, like that's like old sports. Like it's one of the oldest sports, bro. It's throwing a stick far as fuck.
Yeah, it's so real. It felt good too. It's like it's a really beautiful way of training because like the way you train, like in a lot of disciplines, it takes a lot of reps, but with this it's like you have to become innately athletic. Like that's the key to being really, really, really good at this is you have to be athletic
because it's the total body thing, isn't it?
Total, like and it's so, I don't know, man, like it really gave me the love for like having a craft and working on it, and I worked on it for like 18 years and of course, if you work on something for 18 years, you're going to be good, but I didn't put one and one together. I was just focused on like, I was kind of just lost in the sauce, to be honest.
Just doing what you were doing.
Yes.
But you said earlier your dad was really big on instilling that like hard work in you.
Yes. And man.
So you might not be thinking about it, but Pops put that in you for, a while back, and it just stayed with you. So like, as you even saying, COVID year, you came back trained, and you're saying you ate clean, you trained really hard.
Yeah.
Like you might not have been thinking about like the end goal of all, but but that hard work is just like instilled in you, and that's crazy because everybody don't got that discipline.
No, it's crazy. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you have memories as a child, but you kind of forget about them. Yeah. So weird. When I made it to nationals, I was like, obviously I'm crying because it's like you work for something for 3 years, that's your goal, and then it's finally you see it happen. And it was weird because I had this like convincement, like the morning of, I was like, I'm going. I was like, I have no reason to think that because I'm coming in like in the 30s, like 31st or 32nd. So to go down from 32nd to 12 is crazy. Like that just doesn't happen. It doesn't. Like every year you have one or two people that do it, and I just happen to be the one person that did it.
Because you worked harder. Man, it be like that.
Maybe, but it's like you gotta understand, like I'm competing against girls that like get massages every day and get, like they get taken care of so much.
They put money into their bodies and all that jazz.
Yeah, but like on like I'm competing against a girl from USC who literally does not need to think about anything else but showing up to practice. I need to think about where I'm gonna get my food from, what am I gonna train that day, how am I going to train? How am I going to get there? Do I take the train? Do I Uber?
Plus your family's still back home.
Yes, I'm doing everything alone. And bro, you're like, it's not like now my head coach is not my coach. I don't have somebody advocating for me. Yeah. So I got to go in and have it. Imagine like your athlete coming in and be like, look, I need this, and this. Give me, write me down. This is a check for this Uber that I paid to go. Like I'm managing myself.
Everything, yeah.
Against somebody. And I was 18 alone. Like, and I'm having a discussion with like a 40-year-old. And thank God my first head coach, he was angel of a man. Yeah. Anything I could do for you, Ilhame, I'll help you out. When he would record, let me know what you need. Like very supportive. He just couldn't coach me. Yeah. But he was very, very respectful. He understood I was there by myself. Like he's like, yeah, I got you. Whatever you need. Like,
that's fire.
Yeah.
All it takes is a little support.
It does. It does. Yeah. But yeah, my dad. So when I went to nationals, I had like a weird like memory snap back to me, and it was of me and my dad, we would like use baseballs and like throw them over to each other. He would make two of us would bike like to like a playground nearby, and we would just all day just throw balls. He's like, "This is how you throw a ball, because if you can throw a ball far, you're gonna be able to throw a stick far."
Facts.
Crazy.
I mean, he's on to something. Shout out to Pops, man.
Shout out to Papa Mo.
We need more Pops like y'all.
Muhammad, shout out to you.
Shout out to Mo, man. He getting it done, man.
He
Shout out to Mo.
Shout out to Mo.
Mo got it, man.
Mo,
Big shout out. You know what it is. Mo got it.
He really does.
Yeah, that's fire. And then after nationals, that's when you made your change. You got your final year break that you needed.
Yeah. So I literally, as soon as it happened, they fired a head coach, the one that supported me really hard. I was like, okay, look, I need to go into the transfer portal, and normally they cut your scholarship. I'm like, look, I did all this by myself. I cannot lose. Like, if I lose my scholarship and I cannot find another school.
Well, you were in nationals. Anybody was gonna offer you.
I didn't know that at the time. Like, I don't know. We're at the end of the summer. In my brain, they already gave all their money out. So who's gonna?
Hell no. It's always some checks laying around, baby.
I don't know.
They will pay any, like, these schools. There's rules, and then there's money that can get a lot of shit done. They get a lot of shit done.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Man, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're at that level, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I didn't know. So I just started. I obviously got like a lot of schools reaching out, but I was like, okay, obviously a school like Texas or a school like UCLA, UNC, they're not gonna call unless you're the Usain Bolt. They're not gonna call. You call us, type thing. So I called, like, call everybody, literally everybody. My boyfriend made me sit down and like call, and call Duke, and he happened to be new, the coach. He's like, yeah, you know, like I just started this job like a couple days ago, so of course I would love to talk to you. So I ended up talking to Berkeley, Wisconsin, UNC, and Duke. Those were my 4 schools. And then it kind of became a battle between UNC and Duke, and then I had to stay at Loyola for 1 more year because my credits couldn't transfer over. So I just basically that's where I picked up DJing after going to nationals. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so you didn't play that 1 year you stayed?
I did, but I was just bullshitting.
Right. Yeah. And so you picked up DJing because you knew you were about to leave. You were probably checked out already.
True. Yeah. I was just mentally. It was draining. 3 years of training by yourself. Like, you're isolated. Your family not there.
See, you saying you were training by yourself, no coach for real, to go from 32nd or whatever to 12th, bro. That's insane. Like that. You obviously are a natural gifted athlete. And then putting hard work into it obviously made you insanely good. And shout out to Pops again for knowing you'd be
shout out for the G.
You'd be great in your first meet, because that's insane. Like that's not normal.
Yeah,
I want you to know that's not normal on any scale.
Yeah, I mean, when you live your life, like, you don't think nothing of it. You think like, oh my God, I'm a lame because I love eating bananas with whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you think you're lame. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not kind of like, everybody got their insecurities. I'm like, oh my God, I just messed up. That conversation is really awkward. You know? So I don't even think, and honestly, like, I don't like to think about, like, I even hate to say it, like my accomplishments. I do not, because has nothing to do with who I am. That's just things that I do.
Some shit you did. Yeah.
Exactly. So me being a 2-time All-American, me going to Duke, me being in the U.S., like, that obviously it gave a lot to my life and a lot of experiences that crafted me as a person, but that has nothing to do with who I am.
Yeah, true testament, because I've known you for about a year and I didn't even know you did any type of javelin throwing.
Yeah. People be like, oh, shit.
I'm like, bro, what the fuck? When I saw, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? I was so shocked, but that's fire.
Yeah,
that's
I don't be telling people.
No, yeah, that's a great way to be. You're a really humble person. It's really awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, like, even on Instagram for 4 years, I didn't post anything about track. Nothing I did post. Like, on my main page, like, if I were to, like, give out my Instagram to a girl or something, and she would go and look, she wouldn't see nothing.
Yeah.
She would just not see anything on my page, like, literally nothing. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. And feeling became stronger when I was here because everybody claims to be what they do, and that's really weird. Like, you are not you the person is not an investment banker. That's just something that you exercise, like you
do every day.
Like I don't know.
Not you.
Yeah, so when that's like a really big culture here. So when I got here, I was like, there's something.
So how does the shop owner back home describe himself? Like, cause you know what I'm saying? Like,
they don't say, like, I don't know. Dutch people don't we don't. That's like, we're very grounded, very very, very like chill.
They just don't lead with their occupation.
Yeah, like no.
Here we lead with our occupation.
Yeah, and that's the first thing you ask. Oh, what do you do?
What do you do?
It's like that's weird.
That's weird. Yeah,
why
are we weird?
Yeah,
we weird, bro. Why are we weird?
LOL. Yeah, but it's like, it's not even weird. Like every place has its own culture, and there's a beauty in that too, right? Like you guys are extremely hard workers, extremely. That's why when you guys, I'm watching the World Championships.
But to low key ask someone right away, low key, because that like when I think about it, when you're really like trying to get to know somebody, the first thing you really be concerned with is what does this person do for a living?
Yeah,
and that is damn near like. Why for real? Like, you know, like, I mean, I get why, but it's also kind of like you said, that really don't define who this person is. Yeah. And then like we will be like, oh, if you do a job that someone just doesn't like, it'll throw you off, and you won't want to fuck with that person. But that's weird.
And it's and I do have to say it. What you do does say something about you in the terms of like, how do you go about life?
Yeah, definitely, you know, in a way, for sure.
Like, I'm not.
But then sometimes it's like sometimes we were just dealt different hands. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Like, I've met people who do jobs that I thought maybe, like, I don't know, weirdos did, and they be cool as fuck. Normal people, they're just good at that shit. Like, everybody's got a different skill.
No, that's true. And like, for that reason, like, you're not more impressive being, to me, same thing. Like, you're not more impressive being an investment banker versus being a cleaning lady. Like, no difference. Like,
facts.
No, you guys had different opportunities, as you said. Your cards were just dealt.
Somebody had different hand dealt. It's literally life, bro. That's just life. Everybody's hand is dealt different. You were born in the Netherlands. I was born in Chicago. Like, we were dealt two completely different hands from two different sides of the world, just off strength. You get what I'm saying? But like, the greatest thing about being like a human being on this earth is you can make it happen from wherever. So the same way you can make it. Whoa. Well, you kind of proved it. Like, you're from the Netherlands and you made it happen to be the top 12 athletes in the country. Yeah. Like, and there's people from here who couldn't make it in that top 12. Like, that's insane to think about.
I don't think it has anything to do with me. I was just shown, there's two things to it. I was just shown an opportunity, and then I also had some past experience that allowed me to see the opportunity. So
but that's exactly the hands you were dealt. Like, you got placed different things in your life that like helped you learn. Yes. You know how to be there. Some people unfortunately don't be having those even learning opportunities.
No, true. Yeah. So like, I didn't know where you're gonna go with that argument, but I agree with you. Yeah. It's like either you're missing the opportunity, and even if the opportunity is there, sometimes you're just missing the perspective to see that that's an opportunity.
There's a saying that you don't know what you know until you know. You don't know what you didn't know until you know it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just don't know you don't know. Yeah. Until someone explains it to you, and then you're like, damn, man, I really didn't know this shit.
Yeah. And that's hard, because especially like in a country like this that is so heavily segregated, that's where the whole concept of gatekeeping comes from. Like, we're gonna gatekeep wealth by doing what? We're gonna gatekeep the knowledge. Like, there's opportunities out there, a bunch. You can make a bunch of money.
Kept like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so the knowledge on how to get there. So again, it's a two-dimensional thing of like, on the one hand, the opportunity is going to be there, but if you don't have the perspective to see it, then what you like.
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how we do here, where we'll do money for knowledge.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
Oh my God, that's a full circle moment.
Damn.
Was it on camera? Did we have that?
We got that on camera.
Was it?
We got that.
Yeah, I need that connection. Is fire.
Yeah, we just circled back life.
Did you get that? That was fun.
Look at us going through life.
He said, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's gonna get it. No, that's fire.
Great
point. But that's seriously like.
Yeah, that's super real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, because novel. Yeah. So Homo sapiens.
Yeah, we got to read that book. Read Homo sapiens.
So good.
So now I want to dive into this DJing thing because you're fucking dope at DJing. Like obviously that's how I got to know you with the nightlife shit, and like you're a really dope DJ.
Thank you.
So how did, first of all, because all I've heard from you right now has been like, yeah, in the Netherlands, with sports school and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's like you haven't even shown or said any interest about music. Yeah. Like how did music come about for you?
So to me, music has always been just on the background, like in sound or in anything, like it's always just been there. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I never felt like I had to actively like exercise it, because it was just always, I was aware that it was there and I was like listening to it in the background, whether it was like in a car, like anything I did was like with music in the background. But therefore I didn't really feel like the need to like pay attention to it. I played guitar for like 6 years or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
You just randomly learned?
Yeah, my mom, oh my God, obviously like any immigrant kid is going to relate to this, but because your parents didn't have a certain things growing up, they want that for their children. So my mom didn't have like music lessons, you know.
So she got you music lessons?
She wanted me so bad. And she wanted my brother too, so she bought him like a drum kit, whatever, and she bought me a guitar.
Yo, mom and dad is fire right now. Yo, mom and dad. Shout out mom and dad, because they snap, bro. Like dad put the hard work in the sports, mom put the music, and now you're just a powerhouse.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. And it's sad because they don't know. They don't know that they're fire. They think
they're fire, bro.
Yeah, they're fire.
Mom and dad is gonna watch this. They're fire.
They don't even understand English.
Oh my God.
But they
put
speak
the subtitles.
No, subtitles, and it's crazy because they're so smart. They both speak 4 languages.
Jeez.
But they just don't happen to speak English. So people are gonna be like, oh my God, they speak 4.
Well,
like,
they got 4 different subtitles they can watch this interview because they are fire. That is crazy.
And
that is so dope.
Yeah, so my mom put me in that. And then, after that whole nationals drama thing, couldn't leave Loyola, had to be there for another year. And I was like, man, I just worked 3 years to get out of a situation, and now I'm in a worse one to get to a better one eventually, but I didn't know that at the time. So, I picked up, I always wanted to DJ ever since I was 16 or 15. And I had bought a mini board, like a tiny
the little
one. Yeah, that I
thingy.
Still have.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, I still play on it. It's fun. It's like cool, and it's easy to travel with. So
you still do shows with it? Like
sometimes, yeah.
Oh, that's fire as fuck.
The other day I had like a private party that I needed to DJ, and I was running so late, so I just grabbed the mini one because it traveled easy. Yeah. And I was just playing there at a private party. It was like super fancy. It was like my beginner board I was playing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I practiced on that for 3 months. Or 2.5, something like that, like short. I was just like, I'm gonna just get these buttons down and I'm just bluff. I'm gonna just call people like, yo, look, I'm a DJ, so and so, book me. Like bluffing hard. I was.
What?
Yeah.
You just wing shit?
Yeah, always. You gotta always. That's the
damn.
key. I don't want to give up the sauce of life.
Don't gatekeep, my.
Yeah, I don't want to give up my sauce.
Don't gatekeep the sauce.
Yeah. Anyway. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I went I went to visit my friend in San Diego at the time, and I went to visit them, and then I went out there. This was like right after I like learned how to do it. I started November, visit them in January. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna find a club or a bar, and I'm just gonna tell them, hey, I'm a DJ from Amsterdam. They can't really fact check that because I'm not from San Diego. Clearly, like I'm just gonna talk to them in a fat accent that I got when I came here, and I got a headlining for a bar in San Diego. Like I headlined with this girl that did like toured and everything. I was like, bro, when I tell you I didn't know how to set anything up, like I came bluffing so hard. I had 2 USBs, I had my computer, so I set up. I was like, girl, can you set me up? Because I didn't know. I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. She didn't know because she was like, what did this girl pull up with? This doesn't even make sense. So I didn't play that day. Then the first 5 gigs after that, I came back to Chicago. I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. Hey, I'm a DJ from Amsterdam. I had never played anywhere live before. I'm a DJ from Amsterdam. My first day that I got booked twice. Yeah. And I just couldn't figure it out. Finally played, got it to work, but I was so nervous. So I did the Whistler with copyright.
Damn, that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, I knew this interview was gonna be fire.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah. So I started saying that, and then I could after like a month, I could leave out the fact that I was from Amsterdam, but I still use it to get places because that's leverage. It's like being from Amsterdam, being a DJ. Boom, I put them together, and people are like, "Oh, what? That's crazy. What are you doing here? You must be amazing." Because I don't know.
No, but you're actually really dope. So.
Thanks. But yeah, so that's how I got it, and then I started just building relationships, going to places, shaking hands, always asking who's booking here. Like I treated it as a business from the get go. Like this is not for fun. Like I want to get good at this, and I want to be at the top. Shout out to Mo for instilling that in me. Yeah. I always gotta win. Like it's not even winning, but I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this hard. I want to be at the highest thing possible. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You and Mo, man, y'all got that in y'all.
Yeah. I was like, bro, like no, why am I doing this just for fun? This is gonna waste my time if I'm just doing it for I mean, it is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not as fulfilling as like getting to
going
the top.
hard at it. Yeah, no,
you know
for
what
real.
I mean?
Yeah, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
You don't want to do something to be half-assed at it and just kind of waste your time through it, going through the motions. Like,
exactly.
You want to try to get some type of self reward out of it. Like, even if it's just like an accomplishment feeling, like, hey, I did this. Like, I got this done. Yeah. Like, that's rewarding. That's like a super confidence booster.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like running and finishing your run goal. You just like, I can't believe I did it. Like,
yeah, and it was miserable doing it, but you know.
Yeah, it feels so good after.
So, man, and that's, to me, that's life. Like, not to get super deep, but that's life. Like, that's why, that's what I was talking about earlier, like appreciating having a craft that you can work on, and like it's gonna be frustrating, you don't want to do it and you're crying about it
through life.
Yes,
though, man.
like man, yeah, it's so good. Other book that you should read, A New Earth. It talks about that, so we're human beings, right? Yeah. So there's like he's basically making the argument that we're very not two-dimensional, but there's like two things to us, which is like the human part, so the biology, the biological.
And then the spiritual.
Yes, which is the being. And he basically unpacks that by saying that like to truly live is to truly be, and to truly be is you gotta have like a hyper focus on what you're doing now, because that's being aware and that's being conscious, and that is who you are.